Hi, hello, and welcome to the channel. I'm Lady Celine, and today we are getting into chapter 4 of Chaos Head Noah. So, we saw some pretty objective evidence from the police side, got a little bit of clarification, but then we also went through that whole delusion in the middle of the street where we saw no one, then we saw Shogun, and then Shogun was gone, but everyone was back. Uh. I can't tell I don't know which way is up, which way's down, what's real, what's not. Let's just jump right in. Let's just jump right in and see what's up. Alright, so this chapter is called D-Sword. Maybe we'll finally learn how to use it, or maybe we'll find the actual one. I don't have much faith in the trinket, I'll say, that we got from downtown, but Sign City was a pair of buildings located just south of the Shibuya Scramble Crossing. A small plaza rested in front of the entrance to the east building. While it was not nearly as big as the ones in front of Hachiko, the Moyai statue, or other popular destinations, it still found itself used quite often as a meeting place. Even now, around a dozen people were staring at their cell phones, waiting for their engagements to begin. Hey! Hang on. Name. Senna. God. Oh, I swear, it popped into my head right before I saw it pop up on screen. Among those few, only one girl wore an oddly stern expression on her face as she idled, a high school student known as Aoi Senna. She was standing next to the escalator leading down from the Inokashira line station. She leaned her back against a nearby white pillar as she thoroughly scanned the environment with her gaze. In contrast to both the sharpness of her gaze and the season, she was nibbling on a popsicle, which in turn made her appear incredibly charming to the casual observer. In truth, the girl was not waiting for anyone, but was instead quietly observing the passers-by. From where she was standing, she could see all the way to the Jumbotron located at Scramble Crossing. A music video from a famous singer was being displayed on it, and on the lower portion of the screen, a news ticker was reporting the latest information on the recent string of events, colloquially referred to as New Gen. Not a day went by without New Gen-related news. It was everywhere. TV, newspapers, the internet, weekly magazines, jumbotrons, electronic billboards, everywhere. Although Senna had absolutely no interest in the phenomenon, she would often overhear people speaking about it as she passed by them on the streets of Shibuya. Whose eyes are those eyes? Over the past few days, she had begun to see several people wearing t-shirts with those words emblazoned on them. In Shibuya, the phrase had become popular as an obscure meme, and it was now starting to really take off. Despite the brutal scene the words originated from, people happily walked on down the streets, raving about how well the t-shirts were selling at souvenir shops in Harajuku, a clear indication of how disinterested people were in anything other than themselves. Yeah. Senna snorted quietly in a contemptuous display, finished the last bite of her popsicle, and closed her eyes softly without losing her stern expression. She listened carefully to the noise of the city. An abundance of different sounds billowed in front of the station on the Sunday afternoon. The roar of trains arriving at the platform, the blaring horns of taxis, people walking and talking, the background music coming from the jumbotrons and from inside the Sign City stores, the announcements telling people how to safely ride the escalators. The sounds were never allowed to end. Before one sound finished, another one would appear, creating a multi-layered discord that rang throughout the station. In the midst of all the discordant noise, Senna focused her attention only on the people's voices. Dude, I would have such a hard time doing that. I get overstimulated easily when there's like a lot of different like conversations or a lot of different voices going on around. It's it is it gets hard to focus on just one. Her mind blocked out all other sound, and their words soon became clear. Do you think it's going to end up being the same killer after all? Not according to the news. They said the MO of each of them is way too different. I mean, wouldn't it be really freaky if a murder was becoming trendy? You actually like that band? Oh, don't tell me you're one of their fans, too. You'd have to be living under a rock to not know Phantasm. Whose eyes are those eyes t-shirts? Suck my dick, dude. Go buy one yourself. Isn't this kind of stupid? Hello, Mr. Murderer. Please come kill me. Shibuya's gotten real freaky, hasn't it? Super duper freaky. Oh god, it's just getting faster. If she sticks to killing smelly old farts and other nasty ass pigs, that's fine by me. A short click of the tongue escaped from Senna's mouth, and she stopped listening soon after. There was nothing of value to be found in any of the noise. After all, noise was simply that, noise. This feeling of someone's gaze on me. Am I imagining it? Once more, Senna examined her surroundings. For a while now, she had been feeling a repulsive sensation, like cold fingers caressing her spine. A gaze being cast upon her by an unknown entity. One with which she was unable to pinpoint exactly what the source was. Senna pushed herself off the pillar she was leaning against. Then, as if she had just remembered something, she stared down at the popsicle stick in her hand. Looks like I lost, huh? Okay. No context? Gradually growing more and more discontent, she wrinkled her brow and began to walk quickly toward the station. That sky. Why is it so blue that it makes me want to cry? Because someone wished for it to be. I didn't wish for it. No, but I did. Because this place is your image world, but at the same time it is mine as well. Okay. Hey. That sky. Where is it? Wherever you wish for it to be. Is it okay for me to wish for it? Her mouth's not moving, so I'm not sure if it's her talking. Good morning. Come on, it's time to get up. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Seretan was calling me. Last night's episode of Blood Tune was awesome. Seretan played a huge part in it, and there was a super hot kiss scene. The animation quality was practically movie tier, too. If you wake up, I'll give you a good morning kissy poo. Wait, what am I saying? Stupid. I didn't mean it, you dope. Seretan was calling me. Plus, she was saying such moe things that I couldn't not wake up. I tore the blanket off my body and got up from the sofa with a groan. Hey, just how long are you gonna sleep for, you big dum-dum? If you keep on sleeping, I'm gonna bash you with my samurai condenser and wake you up real good. We got it. Okay. The moment I turned off my alarm clock, the voice of Seretan that had been echoing throughout the room disappeared. Morning, Sarah. The Sarah alarm clock I had was very useful. If I didn't turn it off, the volume would slowly get louder and louder, and if I still didn't get up, an obnoxious buzzer sound would ring out. I wanted it to be Seraton who woke me up in the morning, so I made it a good point to wake up and turn it off before the buzzer. I'd only failed to do so once or twice so far. After all, being woken up by Seraton was a great way to start the day. Waking up was the absolute worst. I played video games until dawn, and the couch had been extremely uncomfortable once I actually had gone to sleep, but having her to wake me up helped alleviate some of that pain. Today was a school day. I'd skipped a day last week, so my minimum attendance chart was really starting to fall apart. With the chart, I was only slated to go twice this week, but because of that deviation, I was stuck with having to go 3 times instead. I didn't want to go, but it'd be much worse if I didn't. If I missed any more days, I wouldn't be able to graduate. Then again, whether or not I graduated made no difference to me, to be honest. Okay, bro. Just a moment ago, I'd been having a dream with Remy in it. It was a strange dream. Oh, okay, I think that's what we saw with, like, her in the big blue sky space. One that felt terribly wistful. One that felt terribly lonesome. One that felt terribly sad. And one that felt terribly distant. Would Remy come to school today? I'd been thinking about the day before yesterday constantly. I'd been thinking about it so often that I'd even forgotten to play ESO yesterday. There'd been the appearance of Shogun and the delusion where every person in Shibuya disappeared, but I was barely given either of these things any thought. It had to have just been a delusion of mine. There was no way Shogun could be such an old man, and the idea of people just disappearing from Shibuya or whatever was completely ridiculous, so there was no point in worrying about it. It had been a horribly realistic delusion, sure, but the fact that I'd allowed myself to fall for something so unrealistic so easily, and get all freaked out about it, was just embarrassing. I don't know, I think we experienced something else, like we had a delusion within some kind of other situation going around. I, mm, I really had no theories. Or, well, I think, did I have a theory? Most of what I felt back then was shaky and surreal, as if it were some sort of dream, but I could still vividly remember the sensation of Remy's body embracing my own. If she hadn't done that, I could have gone insane and lost myself completely. Why had Remy saved me? Maybe because we really were friends. I didn't have any memories of us being classmates now, let alone since first year, nor did I remember going to the movies with her along with Misumi-kun. But the way she treated me was definitely how you'd treat a really close friend. She'd even seemed like she'd been close to crying when she held me. That, at the very least, I didn't think was an act. That was the first time I'd ever seen a girl care about, let alone cry over an otaku freak like me. When she treated me like that, all of my fears and suspicions were blown away in an instant. In fact, it had made me feel like I might fall in love with her. No, I obviously couldn't let myself do that. Alright, so I haven't had any thoughts about why he can't remember Remy. It seems like this is the actual timeline, is that, like, she is his friend and he forgore about her. But what I'm thinking is Shogun is the one making the call and sending the message. I think he's doing that to multiple people, and that makes them fall under his control. So what I'm thinking is, first of all, we had the instance where Nanabe just, glazed out and walked into the street and he saved her from traffic. I think he's maybe some other entity or like the government people that we kind of been seeing. Something like that is controlling these people and making them do these horrific acts. I think including the new gen murders. And I think that makes sense with Remy here as well. I think if she was controlled at the time, she didn't know what she was doing. The trauma of seeing her in this act, maybe that made Takumi, we're talking about multiple personalities, maybe that made him switch to a version of himself that doesn't really know Remy, or made him somehow like block out those memories. So some psychological thing where the trauma of seeing her in that situation just wiped her from his brain. And if I'm right, now that Takumi has heard the noise, I'm a little afraid of what we might do. I mean, we are Shogun, though. That's why I'm thinking, like, Shogun maybe has to be working with some larger entity, or there's a second entity pulling weird shit as well. Oh, God. I've gone on too long. Confusion invaded every corner of my mind. How was I supposed to act around Remy from now on? Was Remy my ally or my enemy? Was Remy the new gen culprit? She'd saved me. That was an undeniable fact. Oh, I will say, while I think that Remy was controlled, I think she just hung the body up. I don't think she actually killed anyone, but it's possible that the same kind of mind control, caused the first group to walk off the building without like really realizing or wanting to, and then maybe the other more horrific murders. It was just kind of ramping up in violence for some reason. But yeah, Remy saved me. That was an undeniable fact. But it was just as much of a fact that I had seen her standing still as could be at the scene of the crucifixion, covered in blood. And again, we've seen pictures of the crime scene. There was no blood, and they confirmed there was no wound on the body, that the nails were mostly stuck into his clothes. On my way to school, I stopped by Shoto Park. After what had happened with Yua, I'd put a stop to my habit of eating breakfast there before going to school. Understandable. There was no way I could feel even remotely relaxed when I thought that Yua could be watching me from anywhere. And even if I ignored that, if she came up to talk to me, she would start going off about her irritating, delusional, schizo bullshit all over again. I didn't want anything to do with a girl like her. Yua was Remy's underling. Sure, my original guess may have been incorrect, but that didn't mean that Yua wasn't my enemy. It was still possible that Shogun was the boss of this whole thing, and Yua was one of his underlings. Either way, I knew I'd be better off staying as far away from her as I could. And yet, I found myself coming here today for some reason. I examined my surroundings carefully to make sure I couldn't see Yua anywhere, and once I knew the coast was clear, I slowly sat down on my usual bench. I took a bite of the chocolate bread I'd bought at the convenience store, then looked out at the pond. There was next to no wind, and the surface of the water was calm and serene. I could see the occasional shadows of carp-esque fish gliding through the murky water. The park was unusually empty today. It was a very quiet spot. As my gaze wandered across the park, I couldn't help but think about Remy. To be honest, I'd been dreading going to school today. I knew I'd have to face her if I did. That was the real reason I was stalling at the park. And would rather risk running into Yua, even, okay? I felt like I'd said a lot of awful things to her. Yeah, no shit, bro. And yet, the smile on her face never faltered, and she always treated me like I was a close friend. And I was sure that when I went to school today, she would keep on doing that as if nothing had even happened. She'd smile and talk to me like we were friends, pretending that she didn't even care at all about what happened in front of 107. It was hard to put it into words, but I felt just a little bit annoyed by her constant cheerfulness. Yet, at the same time, I also ended up feeling more cheerful myself when I was with her. I wasn't sure how to act once I did run into her. It was true that I didn't think she was a demon anymore. Okay, that's good. That's a good shift. But honestly, I didn't think of her as a friend either. And also, fair. Misumi-kun had said that she and I had been really close classmates for the past year and a half, but I didn't remember anything like that at all. Maybe it was because of the person controlling me. It's us. We wiped the memory of Rimi. But making my memories of Rimi and only Rimi disappear with pinpoint accuracy like that, there's no way it was possible. Upon entering the school building, I lowered my head even farther toward the ground. As was my usual MO, I kept close to the wall and walked slowly toward the staircase. My class was on the 3rd floor. Getting up there was a pretty big hassle. They could really use an escalator or something. Oh, hey, Konoe, I think? When I reached the foot of the staircase, I spotted a girl climbing unsteadily up the stairs. She was dragging her right leg a little as she walked. Maybe she twisted it. Her petite body swayed from side to side. She looked extremely unstable. Let's help her. Let's be nice. Let's reach out and be friendly and not creepy at all. As other students passed by her one after the other, the girl slowly continued to climb, exactly one step at a time. Watching her from below, I would be able to see her panties any second now. Shit, if I kept this up, I'd be labeled a total pervert. The last thing I needed was to go in front of a mirror and see myself as Bill Clinton or some shit. That's kind of funny. With that thought in mind, I stepped onto the stairs in order to pass the girl. But right when I did, she gonna trip. She gonna trip and fall, drop books. The girl caught the tip of her shoe on one of the steps, and she immediately staggered. Oh, she scraped her knee. And then she fell down so hard you could almost feel the crash sound effect. Fortunately, she'd ended up falling on the landing, so she hadn't fallen down the entire staircase. She was still down on her knees from the pain, though, and was staying pretty still. Dude, I get it. Any kind of like small injury like that, I'd be crying immediately. It just happens out of like embarrassment, pain, whatever. It's all coming flooding out. Could this be a flag? Yeah, no way. Even if it was, calling out to her or anything even remotely similar would be impossible for me. You turned your back on her, man? So I hurriedly slipped past her. Sorry, but you should get some womanizer who's actually into 3D to help you. Someone like Misumi-kun. You really shouldn't rely on me. Why do you want the womanizer to be helping her, though? Like, I'm sorry, I'm used to the kind of thinking of like, oh, I'm a nice guy, why does she go for the nice guy from these kinds of people? So it's, some of it's not quite peace. It's not consistent with the stereotype I have about this kind of person. At least he knows he's unreliable. But the girl was staying curled up on the ground so motionlessly, I started to get a little worried. I was halfway up the stairs when I slowly turned back around to check on her. And that was my first mistake. The girl was gripping onto the railing and trying her absolute hardest to stand back up. Her knees were trembling. She looked like a newborn fawn or something. Her knee was oozing blood. Maybe she'd scraped it. No shit. He's just Stacy, obvious. Her face. I'd seen it before. Wasn't she the girl who'd transferred to my class last week? What was her name again? I couldn't remember. Oh, wow. She was crying. Did it hurt that badly? The fall had definitely been pretty bad, but not bad enough that she'd cry from it. Don't shame her. Hashtag crybabies unite. There was nobody else willing to lend her a hand. Oh God, well if I have to, if no one else will do it. After just barely managing to stand up, she bent forward and peered down at her knee. She must have been checking to see if she had hurt it. And now she's like stained her socks, and that's gonna suck. The transfer student wiped away her tears, set down her bag on the spot, and started rummaging around inside it. What's she looking for, I wondered. Suddenly, she raised her hand above her head in a triumphant manner. Clasped in her hand was a Band-Aid. Yay! Our eyes met. The transfer student went red in surprise soon after, then hung her head. Regardless, she looked like she was okay, so I was sure she'd be fine without me. Thinking that, I hurriedly made my way to class. So we did absolutely nothing but stare at her. Fantastic. As per usual, I kept my head down and my gaze fixed on my toes. And while still remaining silent, I took my seat. When I sat down, I remembered that the transfer student had said something to me the day she'd transferred here. I'd forgotten all about it after everything with Rimi, but I wondered what she'd meant. Yo, Taku! Still according to routine, Misumi called out to me. Maybe he didn't have any other friends besides me. I don't think he does. He'd always talk to me and no one else, so I was starting to genuinely suspect that. Or at least, no other friends in this class. You know, it's possible that he has friends in other, grade levels or other homerooms. Listen up. Okay, so, yesterday, I saw these two sketchy old dudes going into the principal's office. Oh shit, I think that's our cops. That's our detective guys. And so, when I saw that, Rimi and I both went straight to try and eavesdrop on him, and we were totally shocked by what we heard. Those two guys were detectives! Yeah, that's what I thought. What? Detectives? Yeah! They were going over the whole school roster. It looked real serious. Maybe it's got something to do with New Gen? Maybe the true New Gen culprit was someone at this very school? I couldn't help it, but a face popped into my mind. Rimi's. Well, they did end up catching us when we were eavesdropping, though. I jumped. Speak of the devil, Jesus Christ. I felt my heart rate leap when I heard Rimi's voice invade the conversation. I couldn't look up. I was too nervous. But this was a completely different kind of nervousness than last week's. That's because you decided it'd be a great idea to go and open the door. It's your fault. Oh, come on. I couldn't help it. I'd never seen a real detective before, so I was obviously a little excited, and then I just kind of did it. How the hell do you just kinda open a door? Thanks to you, we had to get questioned by those two dicks, too. What's wrong, Daichin? Got something you don't want the big, scary detectives to hear? Don't you? Gee, I wonder. Misumi-kun and Rimi were having a conversation with my desk sandwiched in between them. They were completely ignoring my existence. But to be honest, I was grateful for that. Even if Rimi did talk to me, I didn't have any faith that I'd be able to say anything back. I was hoping that the bell would ring before they got the chance to say anything to me, but when I glanced at the clock, I saw that there was still about 5 minutes until class started. Oh yeah, that reminds me, Taku. Did you see Kozue-chan on the way here? What did I say? Konoe? I think that's the name of one of the new gen victims. Kozue-chan. Kozue-chan? Who? Oh right. I figured you probably wouldn't remember because it's you and all, but you really don't, huh? The transfer student from last week, Orihara Kozue-chan. Oh, so that was her name, Orihara Kozue. On the stairs. The stairs? I saw her. Oh, that's so? Looks like I'll be right back. I can imagine him just rubbing his hands together as he's running out the door. Misumi-kun's voice gave off an aura of intense enthusiasm. I hadn't seen him this energetic since a few days ago when he'd found out that Fess was from the next class over. In other words, I'd never seen him give his all for anything except girls. Which reminded me that just last week, Misumi-kun had already gone to hit on the transfer student the moment she'd arrived. You really are incorrigible. You've got a girlfriend and everything. I hope you're real proud. See, here's the thing. The problem is he's keeping these thoughts to himself. Bros, you gotta say these things to your bros. You gotta let them know you're disappointed in them. You gotta let them know this shit. Tell them to knock it off. Hey, Kozue-chan's seriously cute, don't you think? He asked me something I had trouble answering. I moved my head down ambiguously, which he apparently took as a yes. Right? I fell for her at first sight. All I want to do is protect her. All the boys agree. Every one of them says she's cute. The girls, on the other hand, can't stand her. She's got a real low reputation with them. Which is crazy, since she only just transferred. Despite that, though, they're all super quick to call her annoying or whatever else. This class has got way too many girls with shit personalities. Speak for yourself. Isn't all that kind of your fault, Daichin? I mean, isn't the main person who's calling her annoying your girlfriend? Yeah, I guess. What's your point? My point is that of course she'd find her annoying. Any girl would be like that if they saw their boyfriend hitting on another girl right in front of them. She's got a point. She's got a point. Even I get into fights with her a whole bunch. She'll say stuff like, "Stay away from Daisuke-kun," and she's far from the only girl who's told me that. Shit, you serious? So you don't even know. Would it kill you to do even a little self-reflection? Nah. It's just way too tough out here for a popular dude. And there it is. My fault for expecting anything different from you, the enemy of all women. I'm not going to cover for you anymore, you got that? Oh hey, Orihara-san's here. Wait, doesn't she kind of look hurt? Oh, you're right. I wonder what happened. She'd gotten hurt back when I saw her on the stairs. I obviously wasn't going to tell them that, though. I was trying to avoid talking to Rimi in any way possible. Dude, plus you would just out yourself as an absolute shithead for not helping her. I'm gonna go check up on her real quick. Misumi-kun ran up to where the transfer student was. Thanks to that, Rimi was the only one left standing close to my desk. Misumi-kun, please don't go. First time anyone's ever said that. Ooh, we doing good, we doing bad. Oh, gosh. I think I'm gonna have to go bad. We'll see. I don't know, I don't want him to see her badly. Like, I really want to trust her. Considering the fact that I was hunched over so far on my desk that I could nearly sink my teeth into it, I couldn't see her expression. All I could see was her waist. But if that were true, then that would mean she had to be facing me. In other words, she was looking at me. Oh god, I can't decide. Oh, we're going with nothing. My bad. Okay, whatever. I should probably say something. Maybe a greeting of some sort? But it wasn't like I ever greeted people normally. It would be even more unnatural for me to suddenly start doing it out of the blue like that. Maybe I should bring up the transfer student? But it wasn't like I ever chatted with Rimi normally. It would be even more unnatural for me to suddenly start chatting with her out of the blue like that. I could thank her for the day before yesterday? No, before I did that, maybe I should apologize for being so rude to her after she'd done so much to help me. I could also ask her about why she'd been there back then. I think that's a good route. That's a good route. Start with the apology and open up the conversation from there. I could ask her if maybe she'd hug me because she liked me. Or I could ask her about why she was at the site of the crucifixion. No. None of these topics were conversation starters at all. And most of them shouldn't be brought up in the classroom. Maybe not most, but some. What was I supposed to do? The silence put more and more pressure on me. I knew I ought to say something, and I knew it would be awkward to stay silent, but I still couldn't force out any words. Ugh, I hated the 3D world so goddamn much. I was tired of almost choking over just trying to talk. I just wanted to hurry up and go home to my comforting Seraton. Hey, Taku? Rimi's voice suddenly broke the silence. I jumped in surprise, and a shudder ran through me. I still couldn't look up. So the day before yesterday, were you okay after I left? Rimi's voice was quiet. I felt her breath faintly on my ear. When I looked up in surprise, I realized that she'd moved her face really close to mine, and she was now whispering in my ear. Rimi's body was right next to mine. A soft, warm body that had hugged me in the middle of that road. My mind was going completely blank. The only thing I could think of was the sensation of Rimi's body against mine. I was really worried. I didn't know whether you'd gotten home safe or not. I nodded frantically several times. Okay, I'm glad you're okay. Never do something dangerous like that ever again, you got it? Upon telling me that, Rimi made to leave the classroom. I felt the sudden urge to ask her something. She just said something dangerous like that. I wanted to ask her. Back then, what did it all look like to you? Considering the fact that she hadn't mentioned anything in particular, it seemed like she didn't know anything about the people temporarily disappearing from the streets of Shibuya, nor anything about the wheelchair-bound shogun. No, he seemed to just walk into traffic. Oh shit! Maybe it's giving them delusions? Maybe it's giving them delusions and that's why they're acting like this? I don't know. Which would probably mean It had just been one of my delusions after all. That was why I wanted to ask her. But I didn't think I'd be able to look up and do so after all this time. Either way, I couldn't do it today. I couldn't even prepare myself to ask her. So, next time then. I'd ask her the very next time I came to school. Yeah, I should probably organize the questions I wanted to ask her before then. Huh? Look, Taku, Orihara-san's coming this way. The transfer student? Why was she coming over here? Was she going to come down on me for not helping her on the stairs earlier? I would, man. But she didn't seem like the type of person to do that. Or maybe she wasn't coming up to me, but she actually wanted Rimi for something. The transfer student came up to Rimi, then stopped. She didn't say anything. What the hell? Well, they apparently know each other, so yeah, that would make sense why she's going up to Rimi. As long as Rimi was here, I couldn't raise my head. The transfer student's toes were fidgeting, but she still didn't try to say anything. Orihara-san, what's wrong? For some reason, the new student timidly then placed a single bandage on the edge of my desk. It was a fancy one, with a picture of that weird character, Garo Froggy, emblazoned on it. Huh? Was she giving it to me? How do I react? This Orihara Kozue girl was kind of weird. Oh god. Even I don't know what to I don't know what to make of this, and I don't know what to do. My socially awkward ass just can't. Oh no, Orihara-san, don't cry. What? Was she crying? Why was she crying? Was it because I didn't say anything? But the transfer student hadn't said anything to me either. I don't think Taku's mad or anything. Rimi swooped in to cover for me. Come to think of it, that was a little bit odd. I didn't know next to anything about Rimi, and yet she knew a lot about me. He just doesn't look people in the eye all that often. He's an introvert like that. So there's no need to be all shaky and nervous, okay? But why is she giving him a Band-Aid? Huh? Are you giving me a Band-Aid too? Oh, thank you. Okay, little less weird, I guess. Are we just handing out Band-Aids? With that, the transfer student bowed her head deeply to Rimi, and then she sped her way back to her seat. It was almost like she was running away or something. But why would she give... Maybe I think she noticed him... Didn't they make eye contact? I think she noticed him looking at her. It might have been after she got back up, but maybe that's why she's just like, hey, I saw you, or let's figure it out later. I have no idea what just happened, but I think you should probably take the Band-Aid, Taku. Okay, so she doesn't know either. Why had she given it to me? Kozue-chan, a girl of few words, ain't she? I got the feeling Misumi-kun had come back. Gee, I wonder what makes you feel that. I gave her a tour of the school on her first day. Wow, you were real quick to get your hands on her. Hold on, I haven't done anything yet. Anyway, on that tour, we spent about an hour, give or take, running all over the place. And I was the only person talking the whole time. As you can imagine, I got pretty worn out. Oh yeah, and she's pretty quick to cry, too. I don't know, just kind of her thing. Yeah, she really is. She started crying out of nowhere just a second ago, so I got all freaked out trying to figure out what the heck even happened. Just goes to show how incorrect. I thought it said incorrect. Just goes to show how innocent she really is. Hey, Tsaku, you get it, don't you? You know how cute everything she does is, don't you? Yeah. If I were to put it in neat speak, she's moe as all hell. What's up? You need to take a shit? You constipated? I shook my head from side to side as hard as I could. Taku, you haven't said a word for a really long time now. Yeah, that's because you're here. I wasn't ready for that. I had never talked to a friend who was also a girl all friendly before. Then again, I'd never had a single female friend before, not throughout my entire life. When I tried to talk to Arihara-san, I was hit with this feeling. I just couldn't help but think it kind of wore me out, I guess. Girls really are ruthless towards their own gender, huh? Then again, I'll be the one to protect her, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, come on. Didn't you say less than a minute ago that hanging around her wore you out too? Shut it. Kozue-chan gives off the same vibes as Taku. Makes me not want to leave him alone if I can help it, you know? Oh, well, I guess I sort of understand that. I love how they're talking about him right in front of him. It's funny. He deserves it. The sound of the bell told me that all classes were done for the day. The second it went off, I packed up my things, got up from my desk, and left the classroom. I couldn't stand the subtle distance I felt between me and Rimi for a second longer, so I wanted to get out of the classroom ASAP. Besides, I also had to stop by Manga Darake today. In the end, I hadn't been able to say a single word to Rimi. I'd had several chances to talk to her, but just like this morning, I'd kept my mouth locked shut the entire time. I might have screwed up by doing that. It would make it even more difficult to talk to her the next time I saw her. I was sinking deeper and deeper into the thick swamp that was trying to figure out how the hell to act around Rimi. Oh, big bro! Just as I was about to leave the school building, I was hit with the voice of a certain irritating person. Nanami came running up to me, holding a trash can in her hands. She must have been in the middle of taking it out. Unfortunately for me, the bitch had spotted me. I tried to ignore her and speed my way out of there, but just like usual, Nanami refused to let that happen. Yeah, jerk. The hem of my uniform was pulled tightly from behind. How many times do I have to tell you not to run away from me? What do you want? Don't give me that. Don't you realize I have to chase after you whenever you run away? It's kind of annoying. Okay, then don't chase after me if you don't need anything. You haven't been calling home at all, which is nothing new, but whatever, I've already given up on trying to get you to do it. I doubt you ever will at this point. Wow, she actually understood me for once. Then again, I didn't know how she would, being my sister and all, even though I had no need in the slightest for a 3D one. So that's why I'm gonna have to keep coming to your room every now and then to check up on you. You should be grateful. Damn it, of course it would come to this. If only I could somehow be freed from the curse of my obnoxious little sister. Hell, even though it had never happened, I at least deserved some form of compensation for putting up with her. I thought about that kind of thing daily. Oh, that was it. This was my chance to put my plan from earlier into action. If I was lucky, it might even work as a modest form of revenge. Is he gonna like show her? I think he's gonna show her the voicemail, that's what I'm thinking. I checked my surroundings, then I started walking toward the courtyard, signaling for Nanami to follow me. Huh? What is it? Just come with me.
Why? What's going on?
She was so unbelievably annoying. Was she incapable of following me or something? What a fucking idiot. Nanami, I have an important favor to ask you.
Huh? A favor from you?
Nanami's eyes went wide.
Wow, that doesn't happen often. You never ask me to do stuff.
Just shut up and follow me.
Okay, wait up.
There weren't many people in the courtyard. During lunchtime, the place was always crowded with students eating lunch, but the only people who'd bothered coming here after school were from the gardening club or whatever.
Okay, so what's the favor?
Nanami lowered the trash can she was carrying to the ground, then gave a big grin as she puffed out her chest.
Oh, but I've got one condition. You gotta treat me to McD's afterwards. As long as you do that, I'll do whatever you want, even though I don't really wanna.
Ugh, every little goddamn thing she did pissed me off. I couldn't believe she actually wanted me to pay her back for this. Yes, that's how favors work, right? Didn't help that I'd already treated her to McD's before, too. Forget it. Fine, I'll treat you.
Really? Wow, you're like a totally different person today.
Girl, don't get your hopes up. He hasn't changed a bit. Yeah, because I was lying. Sus for being a liar. Lol, 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 lol. And with that, I handed Nanami my cell phone. Then asked her to call the prank caller whose number was stored in my call history.
You want me to call a number off your history? Who are they?
Someone I know from online. Nanami was tilting her head with a suspicious expression on her face, so I quickly told a lie that would seem plausible to her.
So, why am I doing it?
You'll know if you call them.
You're not plotting something, are you?
Oh my god, shut the fuck up! Yes, all you have to do is just shut up and do what I say. If you can't even do that, then just go home. I have no use for you. Fine, then I won't ask you to do it. I went to snatch back the cell phone, but Nanami pulled her hand back, evading me. Yeah, there's that reverse psychology in the works.
Okay, I'll call them. That's all I have to do, right? You really are selfish, you know.
Yeah, you should talk. Choking back my anger, I watched with bated breath as Nanami dialed the number in question. Well, wait, is she calling this person back on Takumi's phone, or is she entering the number into her phone and making the call? I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but I am curious. Nanami, blissfully unaware, put the cell phone to her ear and waited for them to answer. I noticed that on the hand she was holding the cell phone with, she was wearing a yellow bangle. That was the one I'd given her, wasn't it? Then again, it was more something she just decided to appropriate rather than me actually giving it to her. She even wore it when she went to school? Did she really like it that much? Dude, I think she did. I think that was very meaningful. Even though it was just some cheap-ass bangle that I'd gotten for free. Nanami really did have no taste at all. Not that I could really speak for anyone else, though. Yeah, bro, you got nothing. This didn't matter at all right now. Anyway, who was going to answer the phone? Would it be some scary DQN piece of garbage? Best case scenario, it'd just be a prank and had nothing to do with Shogun or Yua.
Hello?
Someone must have picked up, so Nanami called out as she covered the receiver with her hand. Only to raise her eyebrows soon after. She then thrust the phone back in my direction. What did she hear?
Big bro!
What?
Don't get me what? It's saying the number's not in use right now.
What? I snatched the phone from Nanami and put it to my ear, and what I heard was, "The number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check." She was right. I guess that meant it really had been a prank. Huh. Maybe it was a prank where you called a bunch of random numbers simultaneously over a couple days, and when the prank was over, both the number and the phone were destroyed, or something like that. Either way, that was a pretty large-scale prank. Didn't he say that, like, no one else has received this? He still seems to be the only one. But meh, it didn't matter to me either way. I knew now that the mysterious call had been nothing more than a prank, and nothing else mattered anymore. Okay, what the heck was up with that? I don't need you anymore. Go away. What? Leaving Nanami standing there, I started to walk off, but it didn't take long for her to chase after me. No, you promised her a meal. Wait just a sec. What was all that about? Just shut up already. You were taking out the trash, weren't you? You left the trash can over there. Oh, right. But you still haven't told me what's going on. I'm going home. Without dealing with Nanami, I walked quickly to the school gate with her right on my tail. She's not letting you go, man. Fine. Just remember, you promised to treat me to McD. You better not forget. Like I care. Hey, did you lie to me? Maybe. Dick. Nanami stopped dead in her tracks, looking pretty upset. But I kept right on moving. You big jerk! She yelled out in a voice loud enough to echo throughout the entire area. Fed up with her, I went to turn around and saw her glaring at me with her hands on her hips. A jerk like you should get their brain shriveled up by cell phone radiation and die. Shit. Thanks to Nanami's screeching, more eyes were looking our way, even though I made it a point to stand out as little as possible at school. My sister was the most obnoxious shithead of all time. Not giving a damn about what Nanami had said, I ran off toward the school gate. It was best to retreat at times like this. Jerk! Nanami's voice could still be heard even after I passed through the school gate, making me feel completely and utterly drained. And I think we're gonna call it there for now. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far in the video. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you didn't, keep it to yourself or put it in the comments, really, whatever. And subscribe. Script-bop-a-lop-bop-bop-bop-bibe. That way you can know when the next one's coming out. Hope to see you there.